Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. We've got big changes ahead by the middle of the week. But first, this morning, we've got some cold temperatures that we're waking up to with widespread freezes across all the areas in the southern plains, as well as in a good part of the southeast, where the temperatures have plunged overnight, experiencing those freezing conditions, dropping all the way into the south areas. So many of you are actually waking up with a freeze for the last official day of winter. But going forward for the rest of the day, a lot of areas are experiencing some clearing conditions for a good part of the country. So overall, once the sun comes up, it's going to be a nice day. But yeah, yesterday they had 4 inches of snow all the way down into the Big Bend park of down here in far west Texas. It was good to see some snow all the way down into that region, especially for the third week of March. But yeah, out west we are going to be experiencing another atmospheric river event with more rain showers going to be coming in across a good part of the west coast back into portions of Oregon, especially into California again. Northern and central California is going to get hit hard with more moderate rain during the day on a good part of your Sunday. And take a look at the setup for Monday as that atmospheric river event continues to intensify across a good part of the west coast. Look how far south the jet stream actually dips. Out ahead of it, we've got drier conditions. It's still going to be cold. You got your last day of colder conditions, a little bit of a clearing skies, and that's going to bottom out of the temperatures again heading into your Monday morning. But it's all eyes are going to be out west for our next significant threat with another atmospheric river event, basically a plume of moisture going to be coming in off Hawaii there and impacting the west coast, predominantly a good part of southern California, and it dips all the way down into the Baja of California, and that's going to be significant, setting up a pretty significant trough heading into the middle of the week. So here's the setup going forward on your Monday. So take a look at this significant trough that's really going to be diving down in here from the Pacific Northwest. It's really going to be amplifying. It's going to be tapping in to some of this, Pacific moisture, out here, and really amplifying this event. And the further it digs, the more moisture it's going to be able to pick up from the Pacific and really swinging across a good part of Southern California, as well as in a good part of the southwest regions and the Four Corners regions. And that will be setting the stage for some severe weather heading into the middle of the week. And now a word from my sponsor. Since November, college basketball teams have been traveling the country building their tournament resume. Now the best 64 teams in the country are ready to go dancing. This year's college basketball tournament betting action can be found at DraftKings Sportsbook, today's video sponsor. DraftKings Sportsbook is offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after they place their first $5 wager. Wondering what you could use $200 in bonus bets on? Try parlaying multiple tournament games together in one bet for a shot at even bigger winnings. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still get all the fun with Daily Sports, Daily Fantasy, where they can offer cash prize contests for nearly every sport. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code PALPONDER2023, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So heading into the middle of the week, as we go into your late Tuesday timeframe, take a look at the jet stream as this trough really starts to dig and amplify across the west coast. A bona fide low pressure center will be able to form off the west coast down to a 995 millibar low pressure. That the further it digs, the more it's going to amplify and pull in some of that Pacific moisture and swing it across a good part of southern California and bringing in some heavier rains again. They've seen a lot of rain over the last 4 months, and they're going to be impacted again with another significant system, especially during the afternoon hours on Tuesday. And that's going to be swinging across a good part of the desert Southwest, especially the Four Corners regions, while at the same time, the middle of the country is going to be increasing those temperatures as the winds start to turn around. And once those winds start to turn around, that's when the temperatures start to surge, and they'll amplify with that warm front lifting from the south all the way through a good part of the Missouri Valley, and it could actually reach all the way into portions of Wisconsin. Take a look at the water vapor imagery. This is crucial because there's a lot of energy that's going to be able to tap into out here, especially off those warmer conditions now off the coast of Hawaii. That's going to be swinging across and pulling that water vapor, especially from the mid latitudes here, swinging into the good part of the southern California and across the Baja of California as well, pushing across the desert Southwest. And once it taps into these well above average sea surface anomalies down here in the Gulf of Mexico, yeah, all bets are off. And that's once those winds turn around, lifting it from the south, going to pull out all that tropical moisture down here just waiting to be tapped into. And that's all you need is some lift mechanism, and you're definitely going to get it by the time we get into your Tuesday. It's not going to be raining then, but it's going to be setting the stage and putting more moisture at the higher levels. And that's crucial. Once we have that trough digging a little bit closer in, then all the ingredients will be in place to set the stage for some severe thunderstorms by the middle of the week. So looking at the surface map, as we go into Tuesday afternoon, there's your rain shield heading into California, and I'm expecting some very heavy rain. We got some high winds as well across a good part of California heading into your Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night time frame. It'll be snowing into the higher elevations of the Four Corners regions, especially into portions of, say, Utah, into Flagstaff regions. Some good, decent rains in portions of Arizona as well. And as this swings across, those temperatures are going to be rising across a good part of the south. So all your areas are going to be well below average for the beginning of the next couple of days. But all bets are off, and that changes big time, especially as we go into Wednesday timeframe, where those temperatures surge as the winds turn around, from the south, and they're going to be fighting that cold front again from the north. We got a reinforcing shot of colder air, so widespread 20s. That's our afternoon temperatures across a good part of the Dakotas. That'll be swinging southbound into Minnesota. And that's going to be a fight and set up a battle zone by the middle of the week, setting the stage for that severe weather. So as we take a look at the water vapor imagery heading into your Wednesday timeframe, as that trough gets a little bit closer, that's going to be able to swing in from those southwest winds, pulling in some of that Pacific moisture and dumping it across a good part of New Mexico and portions of Texas here, as well as into Oklahoma. And that will also tap into some more instability, of course, as the temperatures start to rise, the Cape values start to rise, more instability pulls into that low-level jet, and that will set the stage for some amplified storms as we head into your Thursday time frame. But take a look at the trough injection as it digs all the way down into the Baja of California. That's significant. Whenever it digs that far south, that's not a good sign, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center already has an early risk out there for a day 5 risk for a good part of Texas as well as into Oklahoma for some more severe storms. And I think that will just easily be expanded and intensified as we get deeper and closer to the event. But here's the setup going into your Thursday time frame on the lightning density, and this kind of gives you a true depiction on where some of the storms should be. So this is across a good part of North Texas, across a good part of the Oklahoma City area, in and around Oklahoma, a good part of the Missouri here, as well as into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. I think this is where predominantly the severe setup will be as we get closer to this event on your Thursday time frame. So we'll be fine-tuning this all throughout the week going forward with numerous updates. And there's the preliminary outlook as we get into Thursday. I think across a good part of Oklahoma, more amplified down into North Texas. I think this will actually be expanded and then really intensify as we go through the Arklatex and going up into Missouri. And then I think this reaches as far north as Illinois, Indiana, as well as in Ohio on the day on Thursday as we get closer to the event. So on the surface map, take a look at the setup. So we've got that significant trough coming in. We got well below average temperatures still infiltrating across a good part of the west. You've seen well below average temperatures for a good part of March, and that's going to be no different going forward. For the middle of the country, you are going to be seeing a rebound by the middle of the week. And when the rebound, when you tap into some of those warmer conditions and have that clash in temperatures, that sets the stage for that, severe weather threat as we get deeper into the day on your Thursday time frame, especially as that low level jet really starts to dig. We could be looking at widespread severe storms breaking out across the afternoon hours in this region and swinging across as they're going to be fighting a cold front, swinging in from the north, fighting that cold air. So it's all about timing with storms, with storms. So let's take a look at the setup on the overall 500 millibar height anomalies, and you can really see where the warm sector will be. So this is March. This is, sometimes you see this, and whenever you see this, this definitely spells trouble. Or on the severe weather front, as a bona fide trough will be digging in out west, tapping into a warm sector across the central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S. And once those two air masses meet, that's when we have that severe risk going forward, especially into your afternoon time frame on your Thursday. So look at the overall Climate Prediction Center. They've really amplified even this further. So we are experiencing, well below average temperatures for a good part of the country, but it's not going to be until probably your Tuesday time frame where you really start to turn around, really start to see above average temperatures again on your Wednesday and Thursday time frame, while much of the West continues to remain cold and if well below average temperature. So they've been cold really all March time frame, while much of the central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S. will start to rebound a little bit with those above average temperatures. So, but once we get into Friday, here's the setup. So I think the severe threat continues. So it's going to be a multi-day event heading into next week for sure. And I think the severe threat will be swinging across the Arklatex, especially into Mississippi, going through Tennessee, going through Kentucky, getting into portions of Alabama, and then swinging across eventually into probably portions of Georgia as we get deeper into the evening time frame on your Friday evening. So look at the temperatures, before that event with that cold front really starting to dig further to the south. We could be looking at possibly a changeover. It's March, so it takes a lot of dynamics in place to even get snow in this time of year with the sun angle and the several minutes of added daytime heating almost on a daily basis. So you're looking at the temperatures across Missouri and across portions of Illinois when you're looking at 35, 34 degrees. Sometimes it could take what they call dynamic cooling as that rain starts to drop, as that pulls down some of the colder air from the upper levels. Some of that could be changing over to kind of a wet snow in these regions. So yeah, you could be looking at some 35 degrees, snowflakes falling out of the sky in a lot of these regions in this portion of the country, while much of the South is in the warm sector, getting those above average temperatures and tapping into some of that moisture. So taking a look at the setup on the surface map, this is basically what you see. So you're going to have some severe threat further to the south. Once you get a little bit further north, that'll change over to some moderate rain. We got a bona fide, 987 millibar low pressure really start to amplify. As this digs, it'll start to drag down some of that colder air off. And yeah, it's not out of the question. We could be looking at some very wet snowflakes, nothing to stick or anything like that, but you definitely see some wet snowflakes fall out of the sky by the time we head into your Friday time frame, and that will just continue as we get into Saturday morning. Now, because of daytime, just because your overall daytime, the temperatures are going to be lower because they won't have the sun, and so yeah, most of this will probably be falling as really all snow. Some of this obviously will probably be sticking by then as we get into your Saturday morning time frame. So more snow potentially across portions of Chicago, getting into Indiana, especially into portions of Michigan as well, and getting into Canada here. And further south, I think by then it won't be severe heading into your all across the East Coast, but some moderate rains will be impacting that region. So as far as the snow front for the next 7 days, here's the blend. So you are going to be experiencing those colder temperatures out west, right? With that trough again and the higher levels, you're going to be experiencing more mountain snows in the Intermountain West. There's no question about it. And the Sierra Nevadas are going to be adding to those totals, if not some record totals out there. But there's a snowstorm swinging across the Dakotas again. There's a good 4 to 6 inches. There's no question, 4 to 6 inch swath through the Dakotas, through a good part of Minnesota, as well as in central and northern Wisconsin here, across the Great Lakes and the upper peninsula of Michigan there, with some heavier snows. And there's the snow that's happening basically right now across the Big Bend regions of Texas. And there's the rain for the next 7 days. Again, out west, we got a series of atmospheric curve events, especially the biggest one heading into Tuesday timeframe, with more heavy rain inundating across the west coast for a good part of those regions. A lot of that will be moving in across the portions of the Four Corners regions with beneficial rain amounts adding to those totals. And once this swings into the middle of the country, it's going to be able to tap into some of those warmer conditions off the Gulf of Mexico and really amplify. And there'll be the combination of the south wind and the cold front where that boundary is. That's going to spell trouble where that clashing is, and where the training effect could take place. And we could be looking at some flood watches by the middle of the week in this area of the country, across the middle of the Missouri Valley and across the Illinois, across portions of Indiana, as well as Ohio. And this will swing up across portions of Pennsylvania, and just light showers across portions of Florida further south. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me in the next update where I protect you before and after the storm.